I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delighted to host a very distinguished author by the name of Cheng Hsiu Chen. He has written a thought-provoking work called Converse with One Earthly, Beyond Magic, Half Answer, Match Left-Right. It delves into the intricacies of self-consistency, spiritual growth, and the unique differences between the static nature of books and the evolving essence of human beings. The author's unconventional approach to the narrative structure and the author's insights on effective writing and outlining techniques make this book a must-read. We're delighted to have a very talented author such as Chen on our show today. We ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below. Chen, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you too, Logan.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Great to have you here. Your book emphasizes the importance of consistency when it comes to personal growth, but it also embraces the idea that books can afford to be inconsistent. Can you elaborate on this juxtaposition and its significance to your overall message?
Well, I mean, both organized or disorganized, they are both heaven's way. I mean, nature is not totally organized, but when necessary, they will organize by itself. So there's a concept called the Tao or the way, which is the ancient idea of how the heavens works in the universe, not just on the earth, but how the constellations move in orders, and how the earth is formed, how spirituality is really working all things in this universe. So this concept of heaven's way or the way is really, it's not really strictly organized, but because being organized is really for humans' purpose. We are more organized being, but but sometimes we are not organized either, because when we are in a leisure time or in a recreation time, we don't really need to organize everything. We would just using with a chance, or just by what you think about. So both of them is not, they conform to God's way, so to speak.
Absolutely. Your book highlights 5 merits. The need for personal consistency is one of them. Can you share more about the other 4 merits and their role when it comes to one's spiritual journey?
Okay. The consistency basically is about the faith, or it's kind of in line with the faith, or that in that concept. The other 4 spiritual merits are love, being humble, and being righteous, and being wise. So the other 4 is not that, it's not important, but the having faith in your own spirituality is probably the most important out of these 5 spiritual merits. And that, because other 4 spiritual merits kind of grow on your faith in your own spirituality.
Your book provides an interesting perspective on the differences between people and books, particularly in terms of life and death. How do you view this dynamic, and how does it shape the narrative of your work?
Well, I think the most important thing is to realize your own spirit, not just because even if you want to believe in God, you need to believe in your own spirituality first, and that's the foundation that need to be solid before you move on to believe other things other than yourself, like higher spirits or God, and that's the foundation that should be addressed by all religions, but most religions, they don't really address this aspect.
Absolutely. Now, you're a strong advocate for the importance of outlines when it comes to writing, saying it should be used 95% of the time. Can you share some personal experiences or challenges that led you to this belief?
Yes, I actually, when I grew up in Taiwan until when I was 23 years old,
Mhm.
and went to college, studied community college, and then later university. And in community college, I learned, from the book, just basic how to organize uh, uh, a writing in the English class, which gave me a lot of inspiration on, exactly what's important in literature, in doing good in the English class. It's all about organization,
Mhm.
and it's the science. That's what the science is all about too, because the knowledge is organized, so they can do a search, they can do everything to it. It really bring orders to human knowledge and to be able to progress greatly on this respect.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's just free flowing information without structure, without context. Giving it an outline gives it perspective, gives it an order, makes it understandable, and makes it relatable. So I fully agree with you, no doubt. For aspiring writers and the folks reading your books as well, what are the key takeaways that you hope they get from this book?
I think first of all, let me go from my first slide that I wrote the first two books. These two I think if the first two books I wrote in 2013 and 2017.
Mhm.
They published, and this I'm trying to finish my third book, and Converted with One Earthly is my second book,
Mhm.
published in 2017. So to move on with that, I want to go on with some of the basic concepts
Mhm.
of my books. Um, that's my first the first slide here, that saying that the law of separation of church and state. Uh, Basically, we agree with that the church and state should be separate because, church, especially in the East, is very sometimes can be more powerful than the government
Mhm.
not in the right way.
Mhm.
So but we disagree. I mean, we advocate to teach faith in public schools, but uh, not just one faith in any particular region, but faith in general, and that's and spirituality should be a science to be able to walk into school, because any bias toward any particular religion is not good.
Mhm.
It become a propaganda for that religion, and so but also we agree that rituals and worships and gods or prayers should not be in schools, as we practice today in the United States. And we can just use heavens, I mean, which is very common words for all religions. And we advocate like spiritual reasoning using all kinds of spiritual literatures, Bible, sutras, Qurans, and all others. They are all acceptable, but in the school, we should not be biased toward, for any particular religion. In particular, I know that Christianity is much a stronger religion in U.S. and Europe, but if spirituality is to be taught in school, then it need to be fair and not to bias for any particular religion.
Absolutely. Did you have something
So
else to add before we leave you today?
okay,
I was going to say, do you have one
yes,
more thing you want to share?
yes. I want to go through the slide I sent you.
Sure.
The second slide, the second slide is no one is perfect.
Mhm.
That even God, or I mean, God is not perfect. High spirits or angels or any kind of deity, they are not perfect. I don't mean to know. I mean, I don't mean to disrespect the high spirits, God or any, and even though they don't have any sin or wrong or mistake, but they still keep repenting themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's making them even more perfect than perfection itself. Yeah. That's very important, because a concept in Confucianism is to review yourself daily, to improve yourself, to review your any kind of sin, wrong, or mistakes that you can possibly have any committed, and try to correct it every day. But a lot of some people or religion, they claim to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Especially people when they are running the elections, and yeah. Or some religion. Well, I don't want to mention particular religion, but they know that they try to give the impression that the religion itself is perfect, but right. It's actually not. So that's the second slide, and then let me move on to the third slide. I want to introduce God the Mother. God the Father is very familiar in the West. Mm-hmm. In the Bible, it's very thick. Mm-hmm. But the God the Mother, she wrote a book. It's very thin, only 10 chapters, mm-hmm. And during the early 1900s, it's called the Mother God's 10 Commandments to her children. If you Google, you can probably find some translations of that Chinese original written language. And I think Mother God, even though that's much thinner than Holy Bible, but it speaks volumes, much more, sometimes much more than the Bible itself. So, and that's the book I read when I was in high school, which which moved me a great deal. I was so much motivated and by Mother God's compassion to save the souls of this world. I cried several times, when I was reading it by myself.
Right.
So it's very moving, very moving book.
Yeah. It sounds like a moving book, and like all of your work, it actually kind of takes conventional wisdom and turns it upside down. It gives a unique perspective to things. And I think that's what I like most about your work, is that it looks at life, it looks at spirituality, it looks at religion, it looks at God in a different way. The name of this book is Converse with One Earthly, Beyond Magic, Half Answer, Match Left, Right. We're delighted to have Cheng Hsiu Chen join us here today on Spotlight. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Hey.
Okay, and to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight. And don't forget to order this wonderful book. The links are below the interview.